Welcome to a special bonus episode of Beneath the Silent Stars. I'm Julia, and if you've been following this journey, you know that the letters my father left behind have become the key to unraveling a mystery that spans beyond him, a mystery that's now reaching into my own life. Today, I'm sharing a letter that has haunted me ever since I first read it. It's about an encounter he had with what he could only describe as a man who wasn't a man. As I read it, I couldn't shake the feeling that I knew exactly who he was describing. Some call it a cryptid. Others think it's a messenger or an omen. You might know it by one of its names, the Smiling Man, or Indrid Cold. And after reading this letter, I believe I've encountered it too. The letter I'm about to read was written on October 14th, 1987. It's one of the few times my father wrote about an actual entity, not just lights or dreams. Here's what it says. Julia, there are things I haven't told you, not because I didn't want you to know, but because I didn't have the words. I'm still not sure I do, but something happened last night that I can't ignore. I was driving home from work, late. The highway was empty, the kind of quiet that makes the world feel hollow. As I came around a bend, my headlights lit up a figure standing by the side of the road. At first I thought it was a hitchhiker. He was tall, thin, wearing a dark suit that seemed out of place. But as I got closer, I realized something was wrong. He was smiling, Julia. Not a friendly smile, but something else. It was too wide, too fixed. His eyes didn't match the smile. They were cold, unblinking, like he was staring through me instead of at me. And as I passed, he turned his head to follow the car, his smile never faltering. I drove faster, my heart pounding. But a few miles down the road, there he was again, standing in the same way, with that same smile. It didn't make sense. There's no way he could have gotten ahead of me. I didn't stop. I couldn't. But I looked in the rearview mirror, and for a moment, I thought I saw him sitting in the back seat, his smile glowing in the dark. Then he was gone. I don't know what he is, Julia, but I know he wasn't human, and I know he saw me. When I first read this letter, it felt like fiction, like something out of a horror movie. But the more I thought about it, the more familiar it felt. And then, a few months ago, I had an experience of my own. It was late at night, and I was driving home from a friend's house. The road was quiet, just like my father described. As I rounded a curve, I saw him, tall, thin, dressed in black, standing motionless by the side of the road. At first, I thought it was my imagination. But as I got closer, I saw the smile. It was the same smile my father described, too wide, too fixed. And his eyes? They were wrong. They didn't move, didn't blink. And yet I could feel them boring into me. I drove past him, gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. I didn't look back, but I felt his presence, like he was sitting right behind me. When I got home, I locked the doors and windows, but the feeling didn't go away. For days, I felt like I was being watched. I've tried to rationalize it, to convince myself it was just my imagination, fueled by my father's story. But deep down, I know it wasn't. And what scares me the most is the possibility that this smiling man isn't just an isolated phenomenon. Stories of similar entities have been reported around the world, figures that appear as omens, messengers, or something darker. Who or what is Indrid Cold? And why does it seem to show itself to those already connected to the unknown? These are questions I don't have answers to. But one thing is clear. Whatever my father saw, whatever I saw, it was real. And it's still out there. In the next bonus episode, I'll explore the history and lore surrounding entities like the Smiling Man. We'll dive into other encounters, their possible meanings, and what they might be trying to tell us. Until then, keep your eyes open. And if you see a smile that doesn't belong, don't stop. Just keep driving.